Welcome to No Prize Podcast. I am the professor. That's Johnny. That's Lucas. What's going on, gentlemen?
Nothing going on but the rent. Oh, I'll tell you what, I've got to go. I've got to go to my local comic book shop. I've got to buy not one, not two, but 12 comic book boxes.
Oh, why 12?
What?
Yeah, you know, I'm changing around the old office. So gone will be the bookcases behind me. Instead, they will be replaced by long boxes, and each shelf is worth one box, and there's 12 shelves that I've got to deal with. So, woohoo! There's £75 of my English money that I'm never going to see again.
Oh, bro, man, if we lived closer, man, I would send you these boxes that I would just got hanging around that a customer bought and never paid for, man. It's just, I need to get rid of that stuff.
I've got a box of 10 boxes that I haven't used yet, but
Well, don't be bragging. Yeah, tell you what. If your shipping's less than $75, I might take you up on that.
I don't know. You know, it's like I've been it's been a couple of years long project now, but I've been switching out my old comic boxes for new ones because the shelf life on those cardboard boxes. There's some of them still holding up pretty good, but I needed to switch out. So
I think it's
that's
storage,
a big
isn't
project.
it?
Huge project, yeah.
If you're storing it in the attic, then you've got to worry about it.
Yeah, they're in the attic. So
humidity is king.
Yep. All right, so we have a big episode today. We have a lot of stuff to go to. The last couple of months that we have kind of just been talking comics, but we have some Disney Plus action. We have some Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and what is that, a cosplay or is that CG?
It is cosplay. However, it's not just any cosplay. It was the official character that was at the Disney World. And what they would, actually, it was at the it was for a limited time beginning from February 15th, 2023. Moon Girl met guests at Hollywoodland and Disney California Adventure Park to celebrate the debut of Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. So it was an actual thing. So that would kind of explain what they were doing because in the comics, she's not more than like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But then they aged her up to 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what? What is that? Look, it's like you're not a Reed level genius if you're 13 and you're just running around the city causing havoc and just putting stuff together. All right, there was just a 9-year-old who graduated from college last week. You're not that much of a genius at 13 doing all that
You're
stuff.
not special.
Yeah. So that makes sense now because now I'm thinking because you know how they have those little adventure sections over at in Disney in Florida.
Yeah.
That's my maybe what they wanted to do is you know allow her to be aged enough so if they did add her to the Disney parks, it would be plausible that whoever they had playing her, all they had to do is like just get a short character and hey, boom, there you go, 13 years old. So that's what I think was going on there.
Short character.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody that's no more than 5. Yeah, somebody that's no more than like 5'4", 5'5".
Yeah. Numeric percentage wise, that 6 out of 7 dwarfs aren't happy. You know that, right?
Well done, Johnny.
Hey!
Are we allowed to say that, or are we supposed to say little people? I don't know.
It's just a joke. I apologize to anyone who's offended by my joke.
Lucas, why don't you tell us what you thought about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur? Did you get a chance to see them?
Yes, I did, and it was terrible.
It's worse than my joke, everybody. Woo!
Immediately after people started seeing it, there was a fire sale in all the first appearances. There's the few people that are holding on to their speculation and holding on. Oh, this is going to be a great book, but it was terrible. However, for what it is, it's a lot better than I foresee it being. It's just not there yet. Maybe if it gets a second season, and I feel like I heard something about a second season already. Maybe they can fix a lot of those issues in the second season and get it wrapped up. it was leaning a little too much into trying to be a cultural diversity thing, trying to get the dialogue right. But the problem with I forget what's the name of the director, well-known actor. I forget what his name is.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes, Lawrence Fishburne has not been in the hood for at least 30 to 40 years, so it feels like he doesn't know what black people actually sound like nowadays, and that translated into what was going on in here. It feels like he doesn't know what hip hop sounds like nowadays, and that's what translated over to the soundtrack. Um, there was just a lot of stuff that wasn't in the comics that's now in the comics. Like her family now owns a skating rink and all that. It's like I don't a skating rink. Who? What? Uh, Okay, I don't care. We need a little bit more devil dinosaur action. We needed to learn the chaos of what a dinosaur could do, right? Because I had my 9-year-old sit down and watch it. He kept pausing it because he wasn't into it. And you know why? Because you were trying to they were trying to cram this whole thing about Luella and everything, but nobody cares about Luella right now. People care about the dinosaur, right? That's how you hook in the boys at least, right?
Mm.
Um, and then we didn't even get into the whole fact that every once in a while it's all like is it like on the full moon or something like that they switch brains for a little while. Didn't even go into that because she's a mutant. People forget about that, right? So they didn't even go into they didn't go into that whole thing. So a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of stuff that they need to hold on to. They could at least have gotten us some interesting villains, which they didn't. Um, I did appreciate that they did the whole, um, you know, trying to learn kids stuff, but it was
Teach
like,
kids.
yeah,
I,
learn, yeah,
Boy.
hey,
oh man.
you know, you know,
We're not reading textbooks
the
here.
more,
We
yeah,
read
the more,
comics.
the more,
Yeah.
they could have they probably would have been better served if they did the GI Joe thing at the end, where
Oh, I
the more you
love that.
know,
Oh, I
the
love
more you
that.
know, the more you
Yeah.
grow, something like
Yeah.
that.
Knowing is half the battle. Yeah.
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 Today we've discovered that friendship is the only ship that will sail with love. Yes. Brilliant.
Oh boy.
Woo! Thanks, Lion. We needed to know that. Thanks.
So I'm gonna fight back against Lucas here because I watched the first couple of episodes. Actually, I watched the first episode and the sixth episode um, just this morning, and I can't believe how much I actually liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was kind of funny. It was interesting. I could definitely see the aim towards the kids, and I could definitely see the knowing is half the battle type message, but it really is like they tried to do almost like they try to do too much, right? Like they tried to have a superhero super villain type theme, but also weave in some kind of cultural sensibility into it, right? Or a cultural lesson. And to me, I thought for the most part it worked. But I did like I liked the characters. There was some new characters that haven't been in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, but I think they had to be because the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur comic was really just Lunella and Devil with the parents kind of making random appearances, right?
Yeah.
But they had to make Lunella part of that healthy dynamic. She had the parents, she has a grandfather that loves her, and then have her little friends from school because she didn't really have any friends at school that she was interacting with either.
Right. Right.
So they had to introduce some kind of supporting cast for her, and obviously the second main character of the show, Devil Dinosaur, doesn't talk, so you had to have something that she was being able to talk with. The first episode was like an hour long, which I didn't expect was going to be, but that was the origin episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun. I watched it. I thought it was cool. I thought the animation style was familiar, but felt fresh a little bit. And then I thought sixth episode that I watched, because I actually scrolled through and I was like, I don't know if I have time before the podcast. Which one do I want to watch? And there was, of course, the one that had the Beyonder in it, and the Beyonder voiced by Lawrence Fishburne. And the Beyonder I liked, with the exception of they really, really leaned into the Robin Williams genie scenario as far as that how the Beyonder was portrayed, and you know they let him have a little song at the beginning, and it was interesting. I thought it was fun. Obviously, probably not the last time you see the Beyonder if they continue the series. But I wanted to watch that because I was like, what other characters are they throwing in here? And I don't know what other characters were in the other few episodes, but I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm going to go back. I actually am going to go back and watch the other 4 episodes. So that should tell you something.
Okay.
I had to look for it. I'm not going to lie. I looked for it. Could not see it on my Disney Plus. So I'll have to go back and have another look. But it's not really my cup of tea, to be honest. It's like having a character that doesn't talk, but is one of the main pulls of the show. What is this? Airwolf? You know? You only watch Airwolf for the helicopter, right? So.
Oh, I thought Ernest Borgnine was the reason I watched
Airwolf. String. We have to get the lady string.
All right, so check out Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I know they dropped the first 6 episodes all at once, but aren't there 6 more that are coming, or am I wrong?
I'm not sure,
No.
but that'll be interesting to see.
I think they only dropped half the episodes, and then they're going to drop the other half later. So, but anyhow, I might be right, I might be wrong, but hey, be on the lookout. I think that this is actually going to have legs enough to be approved for a second season. So, we'll see.
That contradicts what I heard. I saw a bit of a Twitter rumor going around this last fortnight that said that Disney are kind of in the doldrums with some of the Marvel and Star Wars projects, and they're looking to actually farm out some of the projects to other streaming platforms.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So ever since Bob Iger has come back on board, after they sacked Bob Chapek, they've been looking really hard at a lot of the financials for a lot of stuff. So projects like WandaVision, delayed, Ironheart, delayed, the Marvels movie, delayed till at least 2024.
Really?
Oh, they delayed that. It's supposed to come out in November.
Delayed it. Nope, delayed till 2024.
Wow.
The only ones that we know, in fact, delayed is Blade. But I can't. I know for a fact they start shooting this summer, I believe. I think it's either this summer. Wait, when is it? No,
I heard Blade was
April.
a shit show anyway.
Yeah, but they are starting shooting pretty soon, maybe in the next couple months or so. At least some scenes. So that's where we're at, and it's
interesting.
It's definitely interesting. I do want to see where they're going with it, and see what Bob Iger, because I think what they're actually looking at is a lot of the stuff where they try to cram in a lot of the diversity stuff. They're taking a look at it and saying, does it really make any sense for the price that it's costing them? And and they don't want to pay for the stuff alone, because before it was one central freaking bank or one central office that was paying for it, and they're like, well, it's taking too long to ask that central office for the freaking money, so they want to farm that out. And that's what on the last earnings call, which was maybe a couple weeks ago, that's what Bob Iger was saying. So in the meantime, themes like this that I have up here, they want to focus more on that being part of the parks, and trying to get more of the money, because they're like, hey, that's where we're losing money on the parks and the carnivals, and I want to get those numbers up.
I think, I don't want to say it, I'm going to say it, but no one's going to agree with me. I think the era of the superhero movie is done. I think unless something comes out and dramatically changes the landscape.
Remember
Marvel movies like Ant-Man, like Aquaman. Aquaman already for DC is already getting negative press. That's turning around and saying the screenings are awful. Jason Momoa is now starting to distance himself, according to the rumors on Twitter and on the internet, from the movie. They've had to cut out loads of stuff because Mera was in it. So
Yes.
therefore, I think, I think
So
DC, Warner Brothers, by axing things like Batgirl and then having to go back and delay the Flash umpteen different times, I think we've set the ball in motion for companies
so
like Disney to turn around and say, you know what, it's okay to wait a while. We don't have to put out a product. And the fact is, I know Ant-Man made a shed load of money the first week, but
right.
I don't know anybody at my day job, comic fan or not comic fan, who's actually gone and seen this movie yet.
So you're yeah you're bringing up two different points on the one end for because you remember back in the day when a superhero movie the superhero time was during the summertime so people
Yep.
Yeah.
actually would take time off so that's now we're getting in freaking right before Christmas and all this other stuff so there's no time to anticipate and freaking build up for it um when it comes to the DC stuff, their stuff was already freaking ragged, and it's because of the behind the scenes stuff on with their stars between um old girl who wants to poop on people's beds, and then the other guy who wants to kidnap young teenagers and run off with them,
Well,
allegedly,
right.
allegedly. Don't sue me. And then Marvel, they just barely barely got away from the whole thing of because the Wasp, the actress that plays the Wasp, um, she went on a little rant about COVID and how she doesn't think people should have to be forced to do COVID vaccines and all of the stuff.
I just
She
have one
just
other
barely.
point to make.
Yeah,
There's a reason why Star Trek movies got stopped. Sorry, Lucas. There's a reason why Star Trek movies stopped getting made. And that was at the time. You could watch Next Generation and reruns. Deep Space Nine was halfway through its 7-year run, and Voyager just kicked off. Why would people go to the cinema to watch a franchise that they can watch on their own box? And that's exactly where Disney is right now with Marvel. Why should I bother going to the pictures to go and watch a movie when I can just wait for it to come on my
because
home?
because my house is too nice to do the amount of snacking
Not,
that I
not the
do when
way.
I'm at the movie theater. I like
But
to go there, and so that's where they do get it right. I like to go there and pig out and just leave a whole bunch of trash. No, I try my best to clean up after myself, but my house and my living room is too nice. Now here's where they're going wrong. These 30-minute freaking trailers.
Mhm.
I don't have that time. Look, if it says 2:30, I want it to start no less than 2:40. Okay, I get it. And then the problem also is in those trailers, you're also giving me half the doggone movie.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I've already watched the movie, and there's no urgency for me to see it. Are they harkening back to a time when people had bad memories? That's what because look now I've seen the Ant-Man Quantumania trailers too many, and then I showed up and I watched the movie, and I felt like I've already watched the movie already. I'm like, oh, here's this is coming. Oh, I know she's going to survive because there's another part of this freaking trailer coming.
and the other thing is movies are too long. So if
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the cinema, I'm going to spend 3 hours of my life there. I'd rather do it at home. I'm really sorry. So there's lots of different pressures I think on superhero movies, to the point where you know what, people just don't care anymore. The bog standard Joe Blogs fan does not give a rat's about Ant-Man and the Wasp. My
No,
wife,
no.
who loved the first Ant-Man movie and didn't mind the second one, and enjoys Paul Rudd in Friends. I said to her last weekend, should we go watch the new Ant-Man movie? She was like, nah, we'll just wait till it comes on Disney.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll just wait. And
Well,
that's
I don't, I don't,
exactly the problem
I
we've
don't.
got.
How much do tickets out where you guys
For us,
cost now?
anywhere between £5 to around 12. That's each.
I went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp the day it released. 12, like a two o'clock show cost me $12 to get in.
Mm.
But then when I went the next night with my kids, I went to see it twice. I took my kids the next night, and that those tickets cost me about $18 a piece.
Yes.
This is on
So,
top of a
right.
Disney subscription. I might as well
on
just
top of the Disney Plus subscription, yeah, which is
Exactly.
going up, by the way. My annual subscription just went up to $109 a year.
And
It's from
I know
79.
what Lucas is right. You can't snag out and just leave the wrappers on the floor. But dude, sometimes you have to have a drink when you're watching some of these movies. You hear what I'm saying?
So let's get into Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I know that
Right. Was this
Lucas and
was
I
this worth the $18 to $25 near DC that some people are paying to watch this?
Well, Easy's paid more than that. He paid 12. Did you just go the first time yourself, bud? Or was it you
the
and your
first time
missus?
was just me. Yeah.
So there's 12.
Yeah.
And then the second time it was you. How many kids?
I took both my kids
Oof.
and
And
and my wife.
that's
So
4 lots of $18. That's
yeah,
36. That's
yeah.
72 plus 12.
Plus
That's
50 for concessions.
that's
Yeah,
84. That's
yeah,
$134
yeah.
the professor has spent to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, on
Yep.
top of his Disney subscription, which will show this eventually anyway.
Yes.
So that's the question you should ask, Lucas. See?
So that's
Yeah.
true. I am a sucker, and I spent way more than I needed to on this movie. But I want to tell you, I rather enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. I thought the cast was great. I mean, I loved all the characters except for, I mean, they were all pretty much similar and did the same thing. You had the Wasp and Janet; they did the same thing. Ant-Man did his own powers, and then you introduce Stature, does the same thing. Michael Douglas's Hank Pym was the only kind of original. But I mean, I love the fact that they made Hank Pym cool at the end and let him kind of swagger off and just kind of he just looked great at the end of that movie. He looked like the superhero that he never looked like in the comics. I think the biggest revelation in this movie, obviously, is Jonathan Majors as Kang. He was fantastic in the role. I thought he brought threat and gravitas to the role. Just like made you think that there was actually stakes in this movie and that something might actually happen. And then the rest of it, the one big gripe I will say that I had with the movie was the entire movie, beginning to end, was green screen. There was almost nothing that happened in an actual set, and for me, that was a little distracting, especially because it looked to me like Disney and Marvel have kind of lowered their budget on special effects. So the green screen was really obvious in points.
Lucas, give him grief the way you gave me grief last time about saying CGI. Go on.
Sometimes the green screen on this movie looked like Lucas in front of the street. But for the most part, an overall a good experience. I liked it, and I'm sure this is probably the last Ant-Man movie that we're gonna get. But I enjoyed the characters. What can I say? I love Hank. I love Scott. I love Janet. I thought the introduction of Stature, so Cassie, the actress they got to play Cassie was really good. So.
So my day job, I'm a tutor, an adult educator. In one of my groups this week, one of the participants turned around and said that they'd seen the movie. So none of my work colleagues had, but this learner had. And I said, "What did you think about it?" And he described himself as a Marvel fan. He's seen all the Marvel movies and stuff. He knew some stuff about the comics. He said, as good as Kang was, he was underused massively.
Well, he didn't really show up until halfway through the movie, really. I mean, they showed him a little bit at the beginning, but then like they keep talking about him and talking about him and talking about him, and so finally he shows up, and then once he comes in, he takes over the movie.
Right.
And then the final confrontation between Scott and Kang, really, I think they really go to the lengths to show you that that Scott's outmatched, right? So it was really that was interesting, because I was like, man, Kang should be able to just take everybody, and it was only Scott's like ingenuity at the end, that, or was it really even Cassie with the portal that kind of made them win. So I thought it was
Hmm.
fun, and then this, of course, the teaser trailers at the end. Those were good. Particularly the first one where they introduce all of other Kang's other aspects. So it was um, it was interesting. I liked it. So
No, it's
Lucas,
fine.
Lucas, go ahead. What did you think?
I have no notes. That's it. Look,
Have you
yeah,
seen
I
it,
mean,
Lucas?
I have seen it. Um, and so how about because you did the general? How about I talk about some of these actors and
Sure.
actresses individually? Like you said, Jonathan Major did his thing. He when he tried to communicate what was going on, the reason why he was doing it, it reminded me of Angela Bassett when she takes the time to say, "Hey, I'm going to do this, and you need to know the reason why I'm doing it. There's a really good reason behind why
Hmm.
I'm doing this." So the way even his body language was on another different level. I love that. The young girl, I forget what her name is,
Cassie.
Cassie. The way they decided to slow it all down and express that she's still learning this stuff as she goes along,
Yeah.
and hey, Dad says. You got to do it this way, and then she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna try it." And even when she's still trying it, she doesn't get it right, and that's a lesson learned from the whole Star Wars debacle, where all of a sudden Rey, she knows how to fight with lightsabers, she can use the Force and everything. So good job, lesson learned. The question is about the mom. Um, People have been asking about, like, okay, if she knew that King was down there, right? How come she didn't warn them before?
Well, that was a big thing in the movie.
Right. So yeah, that was a big thing. Like why didn't you tell us before? Everything. And she never really comes up with a good reason, right? Like as soon as they hit the freaking ground in the quantum realm, she probably should. But here's the deal. You ever heard of the bootstrap paradox? Right. It's where things that happen in different universes, right, really didn't happen or really have an effect until you start seeing it or if you can drawing it out and all that other stuff, right? So that may be something that she knows that, hey, even if even if he just exists off of that, he doesn't really exist in their universe until she actually starts talking about it. So that may be a reason why, but of course they never talked about it
Hmm.
or addressed it. You know, I love the set. The way they were trying to get crazy with it, like, hey, there's mushrooms here, and there's the anime tentacle octopus things out there, and all that other stuff. But then, you could tell that they kind of ran out of money, and then they just started going back to the humanoid forms, and they, oh, hey, freaking, this special gel, freaking can translate. So, all right, Bill Murray, I want to see him again. I want to see him in more Marvel stuff.
He
Uh,
was funny. Yeah.
yeah. Wasp, she was just there. She was there, and that's fine. I don't like the whole. Um, I wish I'm not fine with the romance thing yet.
Mhm.
I wanted more. You know me. I'm an animated bud. I want the more prolonged, more high stakes love thing. Instead, at the end of this one, they finally say, "I love you" and blah blah blah. Ah, you know, for me, that's an all.
Oh,
It's too soon. Too soon. Too soon.
Valentine's Day must be a real joy at your house then.
Hey, hey, whatever the missus wants to pick out at freaking Walmart, she can go right on ahead. You know. But look, it is what it is, right? There was no big type superheroes, even though there were technically five superheroes in this thing. And it is what it is. It's going to garner the money that it's going to garner. It's one thing when you can definitely say that the most interesting person in this one is the villain. And
Mhm.
thank goodness Marvel learned their lesson and stopped killing off the villains so we can do something with them at a later time. Um, but that's all I had. Like, I had no notes. It is what it is. Like, either you love it or you freaking hate it. And I understand, like, a lot of people are saying they're going to wait till it comes out on Disney Plus, which is good. So Was that should be what 3 or 4 months or so.
No, no, it's usually 3 or 4 weeks. It's probably by the end of March. I bet it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll see. All right,
Talking of
let's.
movies before we go to the break, I will say this. I finally got around to watching Wakanda Forgettable last weekend.
Uh,
And what did you think?
Well, it was forgettable.
Well,
The few,
specifically because
all right, I'll be quick because we're running out of time. The stuff at the homage stuff at the beginning of the movie, well done. I didn't need to explain who the kid was. I'm an adult. I can follow a storyline. The thing that caused the friction in the first place doesn't get resolved. Love the Mayan history stuff, but then I got that from going to Mexico. Okay, cool. Next, play the advert. There you go.
what did you think
uh,
of? What did you think of Angela Bassett in her
I
last
I
role?
thought Bassett was the best thing on the show by far. I didn't mind Riri. Stark Tech has now
You
become
didn't.
a
You okay? But you didn't mind Riri. But do you think she was going to be a good enough actress to carry on her own show?
well. Put it like this: we're not watching it for her, are we? We're watching it for the proliferation of Stark Tech, which apparently anybody can make now.
Well,
So you
no, no,
mentioned
no, because we are because
Moon Girl. You mentioned Moon Girl wasn't a genius anymore, and yet
right.
Riri's at high school, and she manages to create her own version of an arc reactor and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, nah. So,
Yeah, I
well,
mean
that's it.
we are supposed to be watching parts of it to see because it's supposed to be its own trailer for the show, which has now been delayed.
Mhm.
Right. So I think that's what happened. People looked at it and they was like, "Hey, this was great, this was fine, everything." But then when the question came up, can this young lady who is fine, she's fine, can she carry her own TV show? And the answer is absolutely not. I don't care
Mm.
about
All
Cool.
right. Let's check out this advertisement for the Definitive Crusade.
Hey.
All right, make sure to check out the Definitive Crusade, released on alternate weeks from No Prize. All right.
Hey. We're back.
Hey, Johnny's on everything.
It is.
it.
Welcome to the Johnny Podcast Show.
All right, let's jump into our first comic review, and that's going to be the Fantastic Four, #4, written by Ryan North, art by Iban Coelho, color artist is Jesus Abertov, letters VC's Joe Caramagna. If you don't like it, blame Martin Biro and Annalise Visa and Tom Brevoort. Those are the editors. Johnny, this is your pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me what you loved about
Well,
Fantastic Four number
I
4.
didn't mind the art. I thought the art was all right, but there's a
Yeah.
reason why I picked this book, and I'm going to open it up to you guys. You guys have been hearing me chit chat about stuff over the last few weeks, months, and years that we've been doing this. Why do you think I picked this book?
Why did you pick this book?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Why did you pick it?
Okay.
I'll tell you what right off the bat. I have no idea what the hell was
Right.
going on in this book.
So,
They're doing this and then they're going back in time and then they're out of time.
so
Marvel can't even keep their whole temporal timelines and multiverse stuff straight now. And inside one book.
The reason why I picked this book is story-wise, something happened 6 months ago that the Fantastic Four did that got them disenfranchised from New York, and everybody, including the Avengers and the X-Men, turned their back on them. Now we get to find out what that was. Now, it seems to me, I don't know how you feel about this, but the one brain cell that seems to be working at Marvel seems to use this story all the time, because that sounds like the Amazing Spider-Man to me. What?
Mm.
What?
Yeah.
We're like, not only are we 18 issues into Amazing Spider-Man or whatever it is, and not quite knowing what's going on or why Peter did what he did, but now, in the meantime, Ryan North comes in with a new volume of Fantastic Four, which is only 4 issues deep, and then pulls the same switch. Now, if I was Zeb Wells, I would be spitting feathers. For rightly or wrongly, he has paced his Amazing Spider-Man main plot not to get the special guest issues or whatever. He's dangled that carrot to keep us reading it and keeping the Tombstone stuff good, the Vulture stuff canny, the Norman Osborn stuff good, the Judgment Day episode issue brilliant, all that stuff, keeping us on the edge. What did Peter do? And now, just when the cusp of finding out in Amazing Spider-Man, the same trick is pulled, stealing the thunder. What a dickhead move, Marvel. How dare you spoil a book like Amazing Spider-Man for this pants? On top of that, they get rid of the kids. I mean, I get the idea that kids aren't superhero friendly, but the kids at least feature in this. Can anybody remember when they saw Jerry Drew recently?
That the little baby in Spider-Woman?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you haven't since the Spider-Man run ended. Spider-Woman run ended.
And she got killed in the Spider-Man book by Dan Slott.
But she's still running around in Captain Marvel, so it's all cool.
So I am absolutely furious, as if you can't tell, pardon for my swearing earlier, about how this book is portrayed. The art's all right. It's good to see Reed get some closure for actually being emotional rather than everyone thinking that he's callous and he doesn't care when he does. I didn't mind the bit where they talk about how lives have changed for a year, although it does stink of Endgame, left, right, and centre. But just the idea of it all. I mean, thanks, Marvel. Well done.
Well, so I'm going to agree with you up to a point, but this goes on to the stuff that I say too, is that the next creator that comes onto a book after a heralded run by Dan Slott does everything he can to just dismantle what Dan Slott built. But and the big major piece is, kind of writing out Ben and Alicia's kids and in Franklin and Valeria for that point. So, I mean, I don't know why less is going to be more, but I actually enjoyed the fact that there was family involved. And I mean, even though Franklin and Valeria had been aged up, I thought they were integral pieces of the team at this point. Fantastic Four has always been about family, and I always think adding more family into it was fine.
What he said, Fantastic Four's family. Cutting out the family aspect of the Fantastic Four is like saying, hey, look, there's the Batman comic. Oh, he's not in the Bats anymore. He's just man. He's man.
So yeah, I mean, the way that this book has started since issue 1, where we've kind of gone through the first 3 issues where the team wasn't together and had like almost solo stories. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it's kind of slow started. And then this issue really kind of turned me off with how Reed was, apparently didn't have a choice other than to put the kids into a temporal space that, we won't see them again for, well, they say a year, right? A comic book year, that's forever, right?
Right, yeah. That's it, they're gone. That's it.
And that's
I will say
at least until the next run.
Yeah. I will say the Alex Ross covers are gorgeous, though.
Yes, Alex Ross is always something else. I wanted to bring something up that came up. Maybe we're talking about this too, but just the like continuity and the timelines for everything. So when we say like a year is forever, did you guys read the Punisher War Journal story from this week?
No.
So the Punisher War Journal story went to great lengths to like kind of tell a lot of backstory, but they're still talking about Frank Castle being in Vietnam. And I'm like, well, geez, if he was in Vietnam, he'd be like almost 80 years old at this point.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm like, why? And they literally said Vietnam 3 times in the book. And I was just like,
Right.
wow. But then you're reading it and I'm like, well, all the cars are like current. So not like they did the artwork to be like, to reflect the 80s. They didn't. So I was like, it just took me out of it. But anyhow, all right, let's move on because I know that. Sorry. Go ahead, please.
Sorry for the rant. Sorry, I'll be quiet next time.
No, I enjoy the rants, honestly.
Tell us your truth, Johnny.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, we're going to talk about Captain Britain. Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain, however. And let me find the credits in this real quick.
I can give you it.
I got it. And I'll pronounce the names. So we have T.D. Howard as the writer. We have Vasco Georgiev as on art. Eric Arciniaga on colors. And we have VC's Ariana Mayer as letterer. And of course, if you don't like it, blame Sarah Brunstad and Jordan White. So take that away, Johnny. This is your official pick. This is your second pick.
My second pick.
And I know why you picked this one.
Why?
Because it's Captain Britain.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some fishnets in there. You've got to look really close, but they're there.
Explain this book to me.
So, good luck. So the Back from Otherworld, Captain Britain is now Betsy Braddock. Brian has disavowed himself of the mantle. However, all is not well. Britain doesn't like Betsy Braddock being who she's been, a ninja, a shape changer, a model. She doesn't even live in Britain, or she never used to. On top of that, the whole Betsy not for Britain also carries across to the villains, which are the Furies. For anyone who's been around since Excalibur time. So the Furies are there, and they're going around to different Earths in the multiverse to try and get separate Captain Britons join their cause and leave Betsy alone. All right, that's the main gist of the story. That doesn't come apparent until the last couple of pages. This book is a long book. You sit down. This isn't like a 2-minute read. You're going to have to sit down, read it. You're going to have to know some Excalibur. You're going to have to know some X stuff as well, just to keep up. There are a couple of things going on. It seems that Betsy's other mutant ability is to change her night attire. Come on, man, get consistent. But art-wise, generally speaking, it's okay. I'm not overly keen of is it Ascani? The Rachel Summers? Yeah. I don't understand why. I don't understand why you change the title and still give her the Phoenix powers. Just if she's got the Phoenix powers, then she's the Phoenix, right? Am I missing something? I know X-Men fans will be all like, yeah, but Ascani is really relevant because in the future this is going to happen and yada yada. That future doesn't exist anymore. You know, come on, it's House of X future now, not the Ascani son where Nathan went when he became Cable. Talking of continuity again, the X books are in flux because of the whole Sinister stuff going on. Not this book, but this is an X book, as you can tell by the font and all the X badges all over the place. So I think this is going to be a niche book for a niche set of fans. There you go. Done. Next.
Lucas, what did you think of Captain Britain?
This book individually costs $4.99. 11 panels of this book are them trying to introduce the love life of Captain Britain. And I don't care who she's snugging. I don't care who she's cuddling with.
Valentine's Day yet again.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand like where she is in her whole world and where she fits in. And they're like, oh, by the way, she's living and snogging with so and so. I don't care about it. I want to know if she punches a guy, like will like her fist go through his his noggin. You know what I mean? Then you got the whole Morgan Le Fay, which I really like. I'll say okay, her main villain is going to be Morgan Le Fay. Great. But she only shows up for a little bit, just like really towards the end, and I don't get it. And within that, I don't get the first two or three pages. Was the first two pages where they talk about, hey, Britain for Britons, and why are you calling yourself Captain Britain if you don't even live in Britain? But she's obviously has an apartment, at least an apartment there, and sleeping there. So I don't get it
That's an,
because it has no bearing on the rest of the book.
I think it's setting up that whole element, and the fact the final page, Lucas, shows that Morgan's got something come. The whole Morgan monologue is all about creating a patsy and just draping a flag on them, and then everyone will love them, and that's what that last panel I think is alluding to. So I think I agree with you. There is a lot of oddness in this book, but I think it's one of those ones that you're going to have to kind of pick up the next book down the line just to make sense of it all. I'm not sure that's
So
necessarily a
just
good
so you
marketing
know,
strategy.
I've already read the next book, and it doesn't
Oh,
make any sense.
okay.
So I'm going to say they do kind of lean into the Captain Britain mythos in this. I like, and this is one thing that bothers me about every other aspect of the Marvel universe these days. But in Captain Britain, doesn't really bother me is the fact that there's a multiversal amount of Captain Britons at any given point in time. You can see about 17 of them on the page. There's one here that's a dinosaur, and I'm just like when I read Captain Britain, I'm like, all right, it's whatever. But when I read it in Avengers, I can't stand it. So, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is there a time and a place for everything. And since Captain Britain has already been established that there's multiverses of Captain Britons,
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
yeah,
I like the fact that the Furies in here from way back in the Captain Britain days. I like that they come back. But this did very much read like an issue of Excalibur. The only person missing in this book is Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde, right? I mean,
yeah.
you get Captain Britain, you got Megan, you get Brian. Brian's running around.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
Never ever thought of it like that. Good spot.
yeah. So the only thing, and this is the one thing that I really didn't like about this book, is that why do all the X books just smack of fan fiction these days? They just, I mean, hooking up Betsy with Rachel that's a fan fiction move from just
It
from
is.
moment one. Like
Yeah.
I want to have these two hot chicks I used to read when I was a kid getting it on. I'm like, come on. So to me, and I think the whole X-Men line is like that now. It's like they're like the hippie paradise where it's just free love. But anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's because look, they've taken their hints from manga, right? And they want to be manga so bad, but you're giving it to American writers who obviously haven't written manga in their freaking life. The free love thing, yes, that and the women on women love, yeah, that's absolutely great. But you don't have the art for it. You don't have the
It's
art for
true.
it to carry it out. The outfits that they're wearing right now doesn't appease to me at all. If you're trying to appease to the youngsters, you have failed. What was the name of the artist again that was on this? You have failed at what you're trying to do. I just the
Georgiev.
whole yeah the whole love thing in this one was not romantic at all. It did not appeal to me at all. Stop it. All right. I want to see Captain Britain just just rock somebody world. I don't want to see this anymore. Okay. It's freaking stupid. For
Yeah.
4.99. Ah, crazy.
I'm ready for the next X-Men universe reboot, and I'm hoping that it's soon. Which is saying something because
X.
I've been praying for the Avengers reboot for a while
Yeah.
too.
Well,
So
you'll have to wait till X-Men '97 for that.
yeah, that's true.
See how people react to that.
All right, so we're going to touch real quick on our third review, and then we'll get into our 2 minute warning.
The 2 minute warning.
Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do.
So this is my pick of the week. We have Strange Academy #4, written by Scotty Young, art by Humberto Ramos, colors by Edgar Delgado, letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. If you don't like it, blame Caden McGahee and Nick Lowe. But I hope you really like this book, because I do. This book to me is it really sells me on a bunch of relatively new characters, and you don't really know a lot of them, but hey, they're all students. They all do something different. The Strange Academy, kind of helmless, because since Doctor Strange has deceased, but now he's back, but he's not in this. But I love the location. The location is the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana. That's the base, the home base for these for the Strange Academy students. But if you've been reading Strange Academy, you know that half the class has left and gone over to, I want to say, the dark side, right? So you have Emily, who in the previous run of Strange Academy was really kind of put forward as the hero, where supposedly Dormammu's son Doyle was going to be like the next coming of the big baddie. But it turns out that they've flipped the script, and Doyle is now the hero, and Emily is now the one working with Dormammu. So it was interesting. This is a pretty quick read too. So if you just kind of take a look at the art, just go through, it'll take you like 5 minutes to read this book, but it's fun. These students learn from the magicians and magic users and sorcerers from Marvel. So you see the students.
Harry Potter. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
I had to stuck in my throat there.
we lean into the Harry Potter of it. You gotta love it, right? It's the teachers are like Brother Voodoo and Scarlet Witch and magic, and it's just fun. And all the characters, they all look unique. They all look they're all distinguished. And I just think this is just a fun read. It's kind of like the Runaways with magic when they actually have powers. So I think this is the fun book of the week for me. And I said I was going to keep it quick. So what did you guys think?
I'll also keep it quick. I have no idea what's going on in this book at all in any shape, way, or form. I will say this. I wish they'd make up their mind what they're doing with magic. Is she a kid or is she older? Are they keeping her like a kid, or are they trying to sexualize her? Pick a position and stick with it, Marvel. You're trying to do too much with one character. If she's supposed to be a kid, what's she walking around with black leather for with a hip out? What's that all about? Stop it. Stop it. One or the other. You can't have both. You're not Mary Marvel. Right, next.
She's just the teacher in this, so she's not even really.
Right. So
she's not even really a thing.
So she's a hot teacher this time. Or is she a hot teacher? You don't know, because she's supposed to be 12.
Well, shit. I don't know. She's just drawn that way.
Oh, sorry, Jessica Rabbit.
Lucas, what did you think of Strange Academy?
The theme, I guess, is that in the school of magic, eventually somebody who's going to turn bad is going to use that magic for evil. That's it. That's all I took away from it. Here's where I really don't understand. This week is one of the biggest weeks in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Mardi Gras. And you have a couple of panels in Mardi Gras, yet you don't show Mardi Gras. You've missed out big. You could, for me, as a former resident of New Orleans, you could have had half the book in Mardi Gras, and just had the Strange Academy for kids just having fun. And then at the end, you do this little dust up and that's whatever. I really don't care about this whole emotional thing, the emotional turmoil and everything. I want to see these kids having fun with their magic. I want to see them doing the same stupid stuff that I would have done if I would have been able to do magic and making mistakes, right? But then they're taking them to have the book talking about this fight in between Dormammu and the son and this guy and that guy. I don't care. I don't care.
Luke,
I don't care.
Lucas is like that character, that alien character in Star Trek. You know the classic Trek. Captain, what is this thing called love?
Yeah, like, you know, love is only for reproduction. That's it. You know what I mean?
Love is for tequila.
There we go.
Love is only love is there when the tequila runs out. That's what that's
Hey,
for.
hey,
I love at the bottom of the glass.
that's why we gotta get done with the show because I'm about to be out of my moonshine right here.
Oh boy. All right. Well, in
That
that
was the
case,
last drop right there.
let's jump to the 2-minute warning.
Okay, X-Men 97. Of all the shows that are being delayed and canceled, X-Men 97, according to Bo DeMayo, is still on. The date's supposed to be sometime this upcoming fall. He said that there's no way it's going to be delayed because he's already working on the second season. So, woohoo! So
Yeah.
hopefully, if they're going to reboot X-Men or do anything like that, it'll happen like right after that because we know how Kevin Feige likes to line up the books with whatever the other projects are going
That
for.
said, Marvel's the new Captain Marvel movie that's delayed till next year. That's already completed shooting. So,
Yeah.
tell me again how they don't like to delay stuff if they're working on.
How long has the Flash been done?
Exactly. So exactly.
Yeah.
Next.
FOC, Clobbering Time. I've taken a look at this one. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Because if you're going to have a book with Doggone Hawk and Ben Grimm, I'm tired. I was tired of the storyline where they're always fighting each other. I'm tired. I want to see them team up and just knock somebody the heck out. And that's what's happening in this book. This one's on FOC this week. There's several different freaking covers out there. Um, not a lot of dialogue, stupid dialogue. Just these guys going after kaiju, and freaking knocking it out. Really freaking good book if you're a crayon eater like myself. So the episode covers. Also on FLC, Star Wars: The High Republic, The Blade. This guy's first appearance was in issue number 1. I think we're on issue number 4 already. Also on FLC is of course Strange Academy.
Hey,
Okay.
hey,
That one is
that's a Harry Potter cover right there.
well, it's a homage to the actual art. I forget what the name of the art piece is, but it's a homage. It's the one with it's got the weird drooping clocks and everything.
Yeah.
This one is the trading card. There's a Black History Month for Star Wars: The High Republic, The Blade. Jabba's Palace. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what Marvel was doing with this one. It's a nice enough thing, but I don't know why they felt like there needed to be a 1/100 incentive for this bad boy.
Why does
The
he look
best.
like James Gandolfini in that?
There better be some dancing girls. That's all I'm saying.
That's Tony Soprano.
Yeah, that one's the connecting cover.
Cool.
There is the Alex Maleev, which is a 125, which is nice, and the one that's right there on the right, that's the 1/100. It's kind of like a version cover. Also, for Jabba's Palace, there's a Momoko, which is open order, so probably people could get like I don't know, or retailers could get 50 of these, then 50 of these, or whatever, and then get your 4 2025s and your
I
100.
don't normally say this often, but I don't mind the Momoko one. Quite like it.
Yeah, it's been getting some rave reviews. Talked to some people last night. They really did like it. Nice and clean. Deadpool. Don't forget the whole thing with Deadpool is he's got this Carnage type Venom symbiote attached to him, and he's been using that to go after the next villain or whatever. So that's what's going on here. I do like. I know a lot of people actually like this cover. It's a homage to some sexy covers he's got, but he's almost naked in this one. But people actually kind of like it. It's open order if you guys
Didn't
want to
Ryan Reynolds actually do a photo shoot like that, like a couple of years ago for Deadpool 2?
I don't know. You tell me. You probably got it in your back bin there somewhere.
I believe that. I'll find it.
But what the question is why didn't they put this up on the week of Valentine's Day? I'm not sure.
Because you don't love it. Because you don't believe in love.
Love's supposed to have a purpose. All right.
Yeah.
So that was Deadpool number 5, and then there's a
Oh,
cover
look.
with slapstick on there.
The Joker. Cool. Excellent.
Mhm.
Sabretooth and the XLs. There, I believe there are some new Sabretooths in this one, so it might be worth it to pick it up. Uh, Thor is also on FOC. That one's number 12. Captain Britain. That's the next one. There's already some new developments in there.
Oh, they get Captain Carter in there next issue.
Hey, fishnets! Woohoo!
Hmm.
Fishnets, shoulder fishnets. What's up?
Hey, fishnets work every time, wherever they are.
It must be in the UK thing. Daredevil is on FOC. Then don't forget there's the Alex Ross covers. There is a 1/100 version of this, and trust me, the 1/100 looks definitely better than this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. And then the one that's over to the right, that's the 1 in 25 bar.
I do like the 1 in 25. To be honest, I think that's great. I love that.
Invincible Iron Man. There's the Alex Ross cover.
I love the Alex Ross covers, man. Just good
Yeah.
stuff.
Planet World Worldbreaker. Star Wars The Hybrid Plug stuff. I do like this one for number 7. I think that one's a 1 in 25. Of course, gotta have a Avengers Beyond. Um, just like you were talking about for Moon Girl, they had the Beyonder. They are definitely trying to get people used to the fact that there is a Beyonder. So you're going to start seeing him in a lot more covers or in the storylines.
Well,
Here,
he'll be in the next Avengers movie probably.
and there's your Scotty Young, Venom Lethal Protector. There's your Alex Ross cover, and there's a Momoko.
Ooh, I like that as well.
That's another version of the Clobber in Time covers. It's Jeff. Um, this one is for the kids. It doesn't have a lot of dialogue, if any dialogue, if I remember. It's definitely a lot of fun, very fun to kind of read. Definitely for me as a crayon eater, just a lot of physical comedy to it.
And of course, it's Jeff even gets 3 covers.
Yeah. X-Men Unforgiven. That's a complete return of the vampire group called the Unforgiven with Jubilee. Um, some interesting developments. There's 2 new characters that I'm not tracking in this one. So it might be interesting to pick this one up, especially with the fact that they're still working on the whole Blade thing. Because just like you said before, Professor, whereas people are getting kind of a superhero fatigue, that's why Marvel, quite intelligently, decided to kind of open up the vault and are doing, the wolf and blade and vampire stuff, the
Yeah,
swamp thing stuff.
lean more into the horror stuff.
Yeah, the what if stuff, the Marvel zombie stuff. They're opening the vault. The problem is, the question is do they have enough money to actually do that? So I think they're going to take a look at the financials after Ant-Man, and see which direction they should go. I hope they understand that they're on the right path, but the superhero Phase 5 thing needs to, they need to pull back on it a little bit.
I can't believe they talk about financials when Black Panther makes $1 billion at the box office, and like every Marvel show that comes out,
Yeah.
to me, I
Well,
don't know. Well,
yeah.
But
Well,
you put, sorry, you've got to think how much it costs. You said earlier, when you went to see the Ant-Man movie, there's no sets; it's all CGI. So that costs some
yeah,
moolah.
yeah.
Costs
Well,
some
another
cheddar
thing
cheese.
is, they're trying to pull in more people from the UK. They're putting more money into the licenses for soccer, cricket, which they actually lost the big overall primary license for. So they actually had to sub licenses from another company. I forget what the name of that company is.
And Doctor
Um,
Who, of course.
all right.
yeah, but
Don't
yeah,
all right, Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who.
yeah. So that's, I think that'll do well for them. Is the fact that they did license it. They just actually had to start putting out. Do we know when the new season is supposed to start?
Well, there's a couple of specials coming up this year. Then the proper season will kick in next, apparently. So coming
Um,
soon.
yeah, let me.
That's last
Was
week.
Was that an Andre the Giant action figure with the
It,
hanging?
yes, it was, sir. Um, if you give me a quick second, because I feel like, oh, here we go. This is what we're gonna do. Instead of just doing the slides, I felt like because they're still refreshing some of this stuff. So Captain America, Sentinel Liberty. This one is the Carmen Carnero, and then this is the stuff that's coming out this week. Once again, this is the 1/100 Cosmic Ghost Rider #1.
Oh, they're coming out with another Cosmic Ghost Rider book.
Yeah.
Pass.
See, I thought that, and I thought I better not say that because that's just so neg. But never mind.
There's your House Eve #1, 1/100, Alex Ross.
It's nice.
And then there's the Art Germ Virgin.
I like that cover. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1/200 though. There's your Iron Man 1/25 by Juan Cabal. Okay. And it's Jeff #1. Let's see. Miles Morales #2 has a second print by Federico Vincentini.
Was that Black Cat and Mary Jane next to it?
Yes. The reason why people are going to want to pay attention to this one is because #2, that was the first appearance of Rambler in her full costume. Usually in the second print, you put her on there, but she's not on this one, which means this might be very low print when it comes right down. It may be very low in order. So if she turns into anything, this will be a book that people are going to want to have. Yep. Mary Jane and Black Cat. That's the second print for John Scott Campbell. Rogue and Gambit. This one is another 1/100 by Alex Ross. The Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones #1, 1/10, the design variant.
I'm out.
But I do know people might want to keep an eye out on this one. This one is the number.
Greg Land.
Yeah, Greg Land 1/100 though.
The Greg Land Renaissance
continues.
Yes.
And then there's also the Stormbreaker variant by Villa Francesco.
I don't mind that one either.
Yeah, that's nice. Why does she wear pumps?
It's Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider. She's still kicking around, isn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't have a book or anything, does she?
No.
No, but that's her on the cover of Spider-Man.
Yeah. I know. I know she's appeared in the Dan Slott Spider-Man book, but I just don't understand why. I thought everyone loved Spider-Gwen.
Well, I guess maybe they'll wait till after the Miles Morales Spider-Verse comes out, and then we'll see where it goes with that one.
That's coming out in like July, isn't it?
Yeah. But in the meantime, there's been several series announced. One of them is Spider-Man India. That's coming out. Spider-Man #6, Mark Bagley. And then there's the Unforgiven, Spider-Man Unforgiven #1, Stormbreaker.
So is the Unforgiven that is going to be like a vampire crossover book with X-Men and Spider-Man? And
yes.
Mm-hmm. Is it not affecting the whole Marvel universe? So we can expect some Avengers Unforgiven at some point.
Stop asking good questions, okay? Because
all right, okay, sorry.
I feel like what was supposed to happen was the Blade movie was supposed, because it's been over 3 or 4 years since they made that initial announcement for the Blade. I feel like Blade was supposed to be coming out this summer. Instead, we're still buzzing around with the director and the casting and everything.
Yeah, but then all these books are coming out, and they were supposed to be released with like a movie coinciding.
Yeah,
synergy, baby, synergy.
Yeah.
Here's your Star Wars #32, Peach Momoko. And then there's another Momoko. She's been getting some work in. Chewbacca #10, Women's History Month.
Oh, even the women get a History Month? What's up with that?
Yes, they do.
Where is Left-Handed Writer Month? Where is Sarcastic Brit Month? When's that?
Okay, there's the Manahini Black History Month. So I was like, all right. But I do like this 150 by Dotson for the Mandalorian.
See, we've seen Dodson recently on Amazing
It's
Spider-Man. It hasn't been fantastic.
that's little green baby month.
And that's pretty much it. Venom number 17, Panosian. Um,
Awful.
yeah, it's going to be tough to speculate on that one because I do know a lot of retailers have their own type of variants that are coming out for that one already. So be careful about buying a whole bunch in bulk and everything. But
Cool.
that was your 2 minute, 2 to 15 minute freaking warning. I apologize. I took so long.
All right. So, and on that note, we are over. So, you guys enjoy your week and make sure to check out your other podcasts like Definitive Crusade and Outside the Panels. I think you got something coming up
Yeah,
pretty soon.
yeah, yeah. Check out Outside the Panels for all you Mark Guggenheim fans. He's going to drop an interview, talk about his new book, Torrent, as well, of course. Can't talk Guggenheim without talking Arrow and The Flash. So there you go. There's some stuff in there. There you go. Cool.
All right. Well, until then, we will see you, and it will be one episode closer to springtime. And until then, stay safe.
Adios.